Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of you who took the time today to join us in this session. For me, it's a really exciting opportunity to start sharing a little bit more details about what we announced beginning of June. Some of you may have heard about the availability of consumption-based pricing already on the 1st of June when it became public on the SAP PartnerEdge portal. Some of you may have heard about it only 2 days later during the Global Partner Summit. But to us, it's a hugely important milestone in actually moving towards providing more flexibility to all of our valued partners out there. So today, really, the mission for us, for the three presenters on this call, will be to walk you through the details. What does this announcement mean? What does the consumption-based pricing model and the SAP Cloud Platform Enterprise Agreement actually mean for you, our partners, as well as our joint customers? So without further ado, I would like to first tell you a little bit about the flow of today. So after my short welcome, we will move towards the meat of the session today, which would be the details of SAP Cloud Platform Enterprise Agreement. And Holger Neuert kindly accepted to actually walk us through the topic, including explaining what CPA and the consumption-based pricing model is, how it works, and then also show us a little bit the details, how you can actually view the consumption and how you can work with it via the SAP Cloud Platform Cockpit. So there'll be also a short demo of the functionality. Then Christine kindly will continue with the topic of how does this announcement and how does this commercial model actually applies and how it can be applied commercially. And that's already in the title of the session. You could read that the Cloud Platform Enterprise Agreement is right now being offered, and the announcement is about making it available via the PartnerEdge Cloud Choice Profit option, right? So Christine will kindly explain what does it mean exactly and how can the Cloud Choice Profit option model be actually leveraged alongside with CPA. How does it work in general? And then me, last but not least, I will then try to link everything that you learned to actually a concise story in the context of what is the actual partner business opportunity and what kind of value proposition and what kind of benefits you can now leverage now that the consumption-based pricing model for SAP Cloud Platform is available. And this will be accompanied also with a short call to action for all of you here on the call. And I would like to hand over now to my dear friend, Holger. Holger, over to you, please.
Thank you, Pavel. And thank you for joining the call today about CPA. My name is Holger Neuert. I'm product manager within the SAP Cloud Platform, and they're responsible for commercialization topics. But I'm also the product owner of the service catalog, the estimator and the price list, which I will show to you also in this session. So it's all about the commercial model we offer here at SAP Cloud Platform. So we have currently three different commercial models. So we have the Cloud Platform Enterprise Agreement, which is the main topic we will talk about today. Then we have also the subscription and pay-as-you-go. So the Cloud Platform Enterprise Agreement is one material number, one SKU, stock keeping unit, where you don't need to define a bill of material so that you can, or your customer can use all existing and future services eligible with this contract or business model. So there is also pre-commitment via cloud credits. What that is, I will come later to that. On the other hand, we have also pay-as-you-go. It's currently in the pilot phase. It's like the CPA, but without a pre-committed or pre-commitment and a special price. And subscription, it's the opposite of the Cloud Platform Enterprise Agreement. You have here a dedicated and defined bill of material where you say, okay, I would like to have 3 or 4 or 10 services where you would like to build, for example, an application, and that is then in the contract. And if you would like to have additional services or changes, you have to talk with your sales representative. So the main focus, as mentioned in the headline today, is the Cloud Platform Enterprise Agreement. So as I mentioned before, it's one material number, one contract for the customer, and you can flexibly turn on and off and switch between services. Versus the subscription, it's more a la carte, where you have a defined bill of material and a contract, or special use cases with a dedicated bill of material. So the big difference is to the subscription that you have the commercial agreement and the technical adoption diverted. So you don't have to think of a contract change like in the subscription case. The second one is that you have a usage control, so you pay only for that stuff you really use. And it's very flexible, so that you say you start maybe in Frankfurt data center, and then you see that you would like to push this application also to another data center. So you're very flexible. And the fourth point is it's very easy to use, so you can start small and you grow as you go. So that's very important as well. And as a kind of summary, it's one service access for all the topics together. A small remark, so you will, as Pavel said, get the slide deck. So I included always links to blogs or to the helpsap.com pages, so that you can also read background information about this as well. So, as I mentioned before, it's for higher utilization. So in the subscription, you pay upfront. It's a flat fee. You can use it, but if you don't use it, you pay maybe more than you expected. In the subscription, you pay really and have the flexibility for the usage of the services. I mentioned in the beginning the cloud credits, so that means that you buy a CPA, or the customer buys a CPA, for example, say over 3 years, 300,000 TCV, and for 1 year as a ACV, it's 100,000. But maybe they get also a discount, so that's subject of the discount. So they get 100,000 cloud credits, but maybe pay only 90,000 euros. So that means it's subject to the discount. Unused cloud credits expire at the end of the contract year. So that means at the end of the year, that will be then yeah, they are unused and then they expire. Purchasing of cloud credits is at any point of time possible, so you can buy additional top-up clouds. So that means if you are at the end of the second year nearly at 100,000 cloud credits, then you can say, okay, I would like to buy some additional top-up clouds. But that means that your cloud credit global account will be then closed if you go in overage. That means only that you pay then and instead of the discounted value, the gross amount. It's also that you can use every service and all services which are consumption-based services. Where you find it, I will show you in a few minutes. And also for future services. So when I think 2 years back, we had approximately 30 services in the CPA model, and now we have more than 70 services. So you saw that we add a lot of services each month. And the service usage is debited from your cloud credit. So every month you get a balance statement, and then you see the starting point and endpoint, and the usage in between is then the consumption. We have one central catalog where you find all the services which are available for Cloud Platform and Cloud Platform Enterprise Agreement and subscription. We included there also the trial services. As I mentioned, we have currently 3 business models where pay-as-you-go is currently in the pilot phase. We are available in more than 59 countries, and as I mentioned before, the 70 service plus. Here is one extract of the services we have, but you should go to the service catalog, which I will show, as I mentioned before, in a few seconds. And what is really interesting, please subscribe to the SAP Cloud Platform newsletter, where we also share always the latest news. And I have also there a CPA section where I share always the roadmap, which kind of, or which services do we have in the pipeline, when do we plan to release these services, and so on. So with having said that, I would like to go to the customer lifecycle within the service catalog. So I would like to switch now to the systems, but please keep in mind, so there are different roles. So for example, the line of business, they would like to see what is offered by the SAP Cloud Platform and look what kind of information are available, estimate costs. You have then the administrator, where I show you how to access the global account, how to manage the account, set up sub-accounts, entitlements for the developer, and track usage. And then the developer itself, where they can enable a service, use the services, and also create new and develop new applications, for example. And then last but not least, the controller, who would like to see what is the commercial usage of the cloud credits and where do I find it. So having said that, I would like to switch to the demo. So that is the Discovery Center at SAP. And here you find missions and services. Missions are use cases. I will come to that later, and services. So you will find here all services which are available within SAP Cloud Platform. Within the filter, you will also see the commercial models, which I mentioned. So you have CPA, subscription, and trial. So when I filter on CPA, you see that we have 83 services out of 91 services which are usable within CPA, and you get all the information needed. For example, I do a reset. I show you now process intelligence, for example, integration, sorry, where you see the content, what kind of tools are used with this service, is there business content available, all the resources, how to get started, documentations, learnings, communities, and also support. You get pricing information around that, and related missions. So you could also see how to activate such a service, and it's used in a use case. I will come to that soon. But you can also add that to the estimator and see then how much it will cost, and plan your project, for example. So here, that's the estimator. I added here, I can reset it. I can, for example, add a service. I would like to have, for example, application runtime, because I would like to build an application. I would like to add HANA Cloud, for example. And then I see here that I can customize the estimate, give it a name, can also share it with my colleagues, with other partners, or with the customer itself. Here via the share, or I can also download it as a PDF and CSV, and you get all the pricing information. So have a look. I also included blogs and feedback or more detailed information about the estimator and service catalog in the tool. What we have like here, so you will find then also additional information about the service catalog, but also about the estimator. So this is also in the slide deck. On SAP.com, when you go to products, business technology platform, and to this area, application development, you will also find then use cases. And in these use cases I already showed you, you can then also directly jump to use cases, which helps you also from a selling motion topic to show customers in which kind of scenarios you can use it. And in these use cases, you see then also the bill of material and solution architecture diagram rates displayed, and you can go directly what this use case would cost also to the estimator. So that is the LOB part. So the LOBs and solution architects now sees what kind of a scenario they would like to implement and have the costs. Now they bought such a CPA, and they get a global account provided. So with each and every CPA, you get then the global account distributed. When you get that, you have then the customer has the S user and can access this global account. For you as a partner, it's maybe also interesting that you can add or let you add as a member in the global account, so that you can also access the global account to provide information. Please be aware that when you are a member and create now sub-accounts, that you are, as a global account who create the sub-account, has directly access to the sub-account, but all other global account members do not have automatically access to this sub-account. So if you create a new sub-account, you have always to think of to add other members as well, so that they can access it as well. So I was in the global account. I showed you how to access or to add a new member, and you can also in the sub account add a new member. So what is the sub account? So for the customer may create as many sub accounts as required. So to reflect the organizational structure, for example, or to separate development, test, and production landscapes, or to support projects. And it's one view across all landscapes and environments, so Neo and Cloud Foundry. So I also added a help SAP.com link into the presentation, where it's explained and 4 different scenarios how to build up such a sub-account structure. So when you go here and create a new sub-account, you can give a display name, description, and the provider. By default, you find the hyperledgers like Amazon, Google, or Azure. If you would like to have a Neo environment, you have to flag the Neo environment, and then you get a SAP provider. And then the data center or the region where you would like to enable the services. So I don't do it now. I already prepared a sub-account on AWS. Very important is that if you enable a sub-account on Cloud Foundry, you have to enable Cloud Foundry as a step, so that you get then all the information on the left-hand side. Otherwise, you have only 2 or 3 entries in this sub-menu. If you have done that, as I mentioned before, you can then add sub-account members. As I created this sub-account, I'm the only member, so I had to add maybe, or for example, Pavel. If I did that, I can now entitle services, and that is a big difference to subscription, where you get then the services directly in your global account, and that is different here. So I have to entitle the services which I will offer to the development teams. So you have to configure entitlements, which helps you also that not everyone can then use in a sub-account all services. And developer may ask you as a global account admin, I don't see some services, and you can then also add, for example, here a HANA Cloud. I can add the service plans and add that to my sub account. With this entitlement, the development teams can now create or enable the service. So if I go now to, I have to save beforehand. If I go now to the spaces, that is then, I can create a space, for example, project test. I can now go to the marketplace, service marketplace, and I will find now here HANA Cloud. So, and within the HANA Cloud, I will then also find the service plans I can create, and find also the instances. I see here the services, I can go to documentation and support, and here the instances where I can now create the new instance. So having said that, I would like to see now the consumption. So the development team created now an instance. They can develop something, time goes by, and now I would like to see what happened on my global account. So several projects run, a lot of sub-accounts were created, so different projects. I would like to go now to the overview page of the global account, and I can now see, and that's a big difference to the sub-account, to the global account of a subscription global account. I have two additional areas. That's the cloud credit usage and the monthly usage as an information. Because that is a test demo system, I don't see real data, but if it would be connected to our billing engine, you would then see how much you already consumed, and also over time, and for the current month, you will also see the estimated amount. Then you see here the global account overview, where you can also see, for example, I already used, for example, HANA service in July 2019, what my usage was. I can also see the costs here. You can go down to the service usage and sub-account usage, and you can also export Excel spreadsheet. In the near future, we will also offer most of these functionalities also via APIs and the command line interface. So you can then also see this information as well. So I already opened the information. So this Excel has then 4 spreadsheets. The first one is the overview, where you get the global account ID and how many regions and so on, and the usage. And then you see also the global account costs on global account level. And you see then also the costs by sub-account level, where it's distributed, and the actual usage. So that is very helpful. And as I mentioned before, it will be also available via APIs. Good. So coming back to my slide deck. So as I mentioned before, you will find that the links always with the blogs, a link to the service catalog, also with a blog to the estimator. You will find information about the use cases on sap.com. As I mentioned before, the information about the authorization, global account, sub-account, and space level. How you model the organizational structure of the sub-account, also setting up the account model. The usage, so that you can entitle the service plans for usage control, and then the developer who create then the sub-account, the space and manage the service. And now coming to the controlling, what I showed, that you see it in the cockpit, but you see it also in the Excel spreadsheet. I showed you that as well. And last but not least, I would like to give you some information about the price list. I don't jump to it right now, but here you would also see historical data, because with the CPA, you have a minimum price guarantee. So that means that you pay for the service, whether at the contract start date or the current billing months. If one of these two prices are lower, you pay for the lower prices. And in the CPA price list, you will also find the historical prices. So you see here historical prices where you get this information as well. So you have to show, include your contract start date, which you will find in the cockpit, which I showed you, and there you get all the information for the minimum price guarantee. And then my last topic, it's about the balance statement. So you get once a month the balance statement. As I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, you have an opening cloud credit balance. Then you see the consumption with the different services you used, the quantity and the list price. And then you see the net value of the services consumed, and then the net value. And then you see also the end number, or the balance statement at the end. So here you see a lot of information. So as I mentioned before, the slide deck will be shared, where it is in detail described what the different areas in your balance statement will mean. Having said that, I'm finished with my presentation regarding the CPA. So thanks for listening, and I will hand over to Pavel.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, Holger. Much appreciated. I would maybe, since we have so many of you here on the call with us, our partners, I would maybe just add before handing over to Christine that what you could see here is a concept that is important for all of you to understand, because ultimately, as you would be positioning and also selling cloud platform via the cloud choice profit option via CPA, you need to actively and closely work and collaborate with your customer, right? And your customer, once they start using consumption-based pricing, you know, that process, how they can also empower you to access the cockpit and be able to proactively help them monitor consumption. That's something that you should keep in mind. And I will also mention it in the call to action that all of you should really work with your customers and proactively check what is the current consumption level, right? Is there opportunity to upsell additional credits, right? Instead of triggering unnecessary overage by, you know, overconsumption, right? So that's where you as partners can also support our joint customers, right? And that's where also these technical means how a customer can actually grant you access to the different reporting tools in the cockpit is important. But with that said, I hand over to Christine. Christine.
Wonderful. Okay. Thank you. As Pavel said, my name is Kristen DeMayo. I am Director of PartnerEdge Programs based in Newtown Square. And I'm going to cover Cloud Choice Profit from a programs perspective, make sure that everyone has the information about what this program is, and obviously how we're going to use this program for CPEA. Before I get into that, though, I did want to hit on something that I hope you as our valued partners have been hearing a lot about over the last few months, hopefully at Global Partner Summit this year through our virtual platform. But really what I wanted to make sure that we cover off on is this exciting time to be an SAP partner. Again, I hope most of you have heard that PartnerEdge, as you know it, is going through a tremendous evolution, a full redesign of the program that you know so that it can be the program that we know you want. Through the years, we've heard you loud and clear in terms of what you need to meet your goals. And that's really what this partner program is all about. So in front of you on the screen are 3 core pillars that are driving this redesign and really this evolution of PartnerEdge as a whole. The 3 pillars being partner innovation, partner economics, and partner experience. So very quickly, just to hit on these 3 pillars, with partner innovation, this is rooted in the fact that you guys are developing amazing IP each and every day for your customers. We know this, we see it, we see the benefit that you're bringing to our joint customers, and so we are determined and committed through this pillar to help you monetize that IP, help you bring it to market faster, and replicate the success that you've had at one customer with multiple customers. So you're going to see many more things coming out, and some have already been announced, around this pillar, and again, helping you take what you've built, bring it to market, and obviously drive more success for you as our partner through that custom IP. When you move to partner economics, and the topic we're covering today is absolutely rooted in this, is we are looking at more commercial models, compelling commercial models that allow you, again, to have better profitability and more success with your partners. So again, what we're covering today in terms of having CPEA available for indirect sales through Cloud Choice Profit, this is a step in that direction. We've heard both our partners and our customers loud and clear that there is a need and desire to have CPEA available via the indirect channel. And again, this is a step towards that through Cloud Choice Profit. And then the last pillar, and it's a pillar that is near and dear to my heart as I am part of what we've named the Partner Experience Team. We are committed to improving your experience with SAP. We want SAP to be the vendor of choice, not only from a customer's point of view, but from a partnering point of view. So you're going to see how we improve your day-to-day interaction, how we support you, how we respond to you, how we ensure that you have access to the right resources, both from a physical, persons being available to additional tools and resources that you can use digitally. All of this is rooted in improving the partner experience. So again, just wanted to cover off on these three pillars because they're driving things like this, and you will be hearing more and more over the next few months over how we're redesigning and again, reimagining the overall partner experience with SAP. So now let's get into Cloud Choice Profit. Many of you may be familiar with this model, but I wanted to kind of level set for anyone that is not on what this program is and how it's a benefit to our partners, not just for CPEA, but in general when you look at our cloud portfolio. So first and foremost, Cloud Choice Profit is an indirect business model for cloud solutions. And it's a business model that you, as a partner, can decide on a deal-by-deal basis for most of our solutions when you'd like to use Cloud Choice Profit or when you would like to transact a deal via resell. The whole idea of Cloud Choice Profit is it was designed to make it easier for our partners to transition to the cloud. You as the partner are still responsible for the subscription sale. The big difference, though, is the contract is actually signed on SAP paper. But again, you are the partner. You own the relationship. You own the account management. You're responsible for that customer's success. Now, based in the responsibilities and rooted in the responsibilities through this model, you're earning a commission. The commission is 20% for the initial contract and then any upsells, and then you get 15% for renewals. Key things to remember is that this model is only available in SAP's general business segment, and it cannot be used for public sector accounts. So those are two big things that you want to always keep in mind when you're evaluating, should you use resale or should you use Cloud Choice Profit for a given solution. CPEA, I will call out, is only available via Cloud Choice Profit. But again, I just wanted to level set for everyone on what the program is, what's the difference between CCP and resale, and again, your overall responsibilities in this model. And tying into that, this slide is, again, just to call out the obligations that our partners have utilizing this model. Again, the partner, you are responsible for the sale, the overall life cycle of the account. So that's from the initial sale and any pre-sales or demos that may have to happen to close that deal. And then when you fast forward a few months, again, you are that first point of contact for that customer. Even though, again, the contract is written on SAP paper, we look to you to be that initial contact if there's any questions, concerns, whatever it might be with the customer. Additionally, we look to our partners in this model to really help drive home and ensure overall success and adoption of the solutions the customer is transacting. This by no means means that you need to actually implement the solution. However, we do look to you to help drive home adoption and ensure overall success of the project. When you look at CCP, and again, it's a relatively new model, sometimes people ask me, well, what are the benefits both for the partner and for the customer? Well, there's a lot of benefit. As I said on one of the first slides, this was rooted and designed basically to help our partners transition and step into the cloud because it's a much different world. It's a much different buying cycle. This does reduce your risk when it comes to the street discounts, if you will, again, because we're contracting directly with SAP and you're earning a commission. And one of the biggest benefits for our partners is from a liability and exposure standpoint. Since the SLAs are directly with SAP, the customer and you get that benefit. We're responsible for the support of the solution and any issues that may arise from the solution. Again, taking that off your shoulders. Additionally, a major benefit for many of our partners is the fact that SAP is picking up the actual billing and collections for the customer account. So again, if there's any delays or any issues with the customer paying their bills, that's not on your shoulders, that's on the shoulders of SAP. When you look at it from the customer's point of view, again, this is reducing the perceived exposure that customers may have when contracting with a partner that is relatively new to cloud. Additionally, we've heard from many of our customers that they would prefer a single vendor approach. So again, because they're contracting, the contract is directly on SAP paper, we're able to do that for our customers. And in the end, it's the benefit of having both the partner and SAP working together to support the customer's joint needs. And that's really what this comes down to. We value our partners and we value what you bring to the table in terms of supporting and knowing our customers, our joint customers. So nothing changes there. And that's really where we rely on you to make these projects a success. So it's a win-win for everybody. And that's why we've seen such great success with Cloud Choice Profit being available to our ecosystem. Now, the other question that comes up is, so why CCP, why Cloud Choice Profit, and not resell for CPEA? And that really comes down to a few things. CPEA has a ton of benefits. We just heard that from Holger. Now, with those benefits comes some additional administration. For any CPEA contracts, there will be the monthly reporting and administration balance statements that obviously have to be generated and reported back to the customer. This is a big undertaking, and we did not want to burden our partners with this additional administration. Now, that being said, partners, as Holger mentioned, can request access, and we recommend that they request access to a customer's CPEA cockpit to help monitor usage. And this is in line with that overall account management that is expected if you utilize the Cloud Choice Profit option. So we take on the burden of the reporting and administration, and then additionally, the other benefit here for partners is it is possible for a customer to overconsume, right? They run into overages on the credits that they've purchased. Again, we didn't want to negatively impact our partners if a customer goes over their usage credits. And so to that, you as a partner, because this is available via CCP, will not be negatively impacted if a customer goes over on their usage credits. So the key things to remember when it comes to CCP and CPEA are these. First and foremost, the commission is the same. 20% on the original deal and any upsells, 15% on renewals. The key thing to call out, though, is excess usage is not commissionable. So remember, we aren't negatively impacting you as our partner if the customer goes over on usage. But to bring it back to something that we covered before, the expectation is that you are helping your customers monitor their usage so that they can purchase any additional credits if and when they see fit or when it's necessary. If they purchase additional credits, that's an upsell, and you earn that 20% on that deal. So again, in line with this being a win-win, so long as you're there helping your customers, you can ensure that they're properly utilizing their credits. If and when there's an opportunity for upsell, you can earn a commission on that upsell, and again, for helping with the overall account management that we would expect using Cloud Choice Profit. So to kind of close this out, first and foremost, I have included a link to our Cloud Choice webpage in PartnerEdge. So I would encourage everyone to go there. And that's just a general overview, again, of Cloud Choice as a business model. If you are not what we call Cloud Choice enabled, please reach out to your PBM or your PXM and let them know that you want to ensure that you have the ability and opportunity to utilize this model, and they'll make sure that the necessary amendments are sent to you. But again, the big things to remember with this model is, one, it's a win-win. It ensures that our customers have access to the solutions that they need and want. It allows you to have a fixed commission rate, a predictable commission that you're earning from SAP, but also allows you to continue to manage and support your customers as you always have, and we know you always will continue to do so with and alongside SAP. This graphic over here on the left is, again, just designed to show you kind of the roles and responsibilities with this model. It's really no different than resell when you think about it, and I think that's really a huge benefit. These are our joint customers, but we also understand, respect, and appreciate the investment that you've made into those customers, into being an SAP partner, and thus that's why you own the customer relationship. So again, utilizing CCP with this opportunity to bring CPEA to your customers, it's a fantastic opportunity. If you have any questions, again, I encourage you to contact either your PBM or your PXM for additional information, and we're here to help you and, again, drive towards a more profitable partnership with SAP. Pavel, I'll hand it over to you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So my part is now really the mission is for me to try to link everything that you heard to the business opportunity that we believe that there is for all of you here on the call. So for me, first of all, I would like to highlight one important thing. With the CPA, with the SAP Cloud Platform Enterprise Agreement, with the new consumption-based pricing model, there is no, let's say, feature-wise, there is no change in SAP Cloud Platform portfolio, right? SAP Cloud Platform keeps evolving, and we still have some sales plays and typical use cases and scenarios where we would recommend to position the SAP Cloud Platform. So this announcement is really just about taking the commercial aspect and the commercial model to the next level. Right? It's not about something entirely new within the concepts and within the services of SAP Cloud Platform. So the reason why I say that is that ultimately you could argue that with this announcement, nothing would really change in terms of how you approach the customers, right? And I would say that probably that would be a fair statement to say, because ultimately still the same scenarios and the same benefits of the underlying product, of the underlying SAP's business technology platform would kick in, would apply, right? But that is actually why I want to start with that. And then only after sharing a little bit what are the high-level sales plays, I would like to then map it to what are the actual benefits and also our own experiences from using the consumption-based pricing model. And where actually that consumption-based pricing model can additionally help you and what could be additional considerations, how you could even increase your success in the market with our platform and technologies or business technology platform portfolio, right? So to make it very, very clear and concise, to us, there are, let's say, 4 key sales plays that we would want our partners to take really seriously in the context of the platform business, in the context of business technology platform. One would be around, we call it intelligent suites around, but it's all around taking the ERP, the digital core, and the cloud line of business solutions around it, and consider that extensibility use case, that extensibility scenario where our joint customers, they're required to extend the capabilities of the standard suite, right? And that's the intelligent suites around, and that's all that it is about. The second play would be around integration, right? And there would be actually 2 elements to that integration play. One being the standard integration content that we provide and that you can deploy into our integration suite. And the other element would be you can also become integration specialists for your customers who will help them actually implement an end-to-end enterprise integration strategy, right? Then you keep hearing from us about the innovation, about intelligent technologies, the topics and notions like Internet of Things, like blockchain, like machine learning, right? Predictive, etc. Then that would be the scope of that intelligent innovation sales play. And last but not least, SAP HANA Cloud Services, SAP HANA Cloud, SAP Data Warehouse Cloud, all of those solutions, right? SAP Analytics Cloud, now embedded in the LOB solutions, but also as a standalone play. So all of these sales plays are actually there for you to use. And the link down below is actually pointing then to additional assets that can help your sales and pre-sales colleagues in your partner companies to actually understand how to position these individual sales plays and what is the value proposition for the end customer. And we structure these not only on these high-level sales plays, but by selling motions, right? So you will see that for each of these sales plays that I just mentioned, we then have specific content that actually teaches you and your sales and pre-sales colleagues what it actually means. What is the tangible scenario that you can position to our joint customers again? right? Once again, the link down below that we will share with you then points to all of these assets. And now back to the topic of today, back to the Cloud Platform Enterprise Agreement. To me, if I were to, let's say, summarize from benefits perspective, the value proposition for you and your customers is really about additional agility, right? Additional flexibility. And that's all driven by that notion of having only one SKU, only one material that you actually would be selling to your customers, right? Only these credits, this notion of credits that you sell. And that actually gives you implicitly a lot of flexibility, right? Whether it is for the extensibility or integration scenarios. Now to actually look at it from, in a little bit more detailed perspective, we also want to be really fair with you and transparent and say, yes, we understand it right now, because that's also the experience when talking to our sales colleagues, that we also need to give you some guidance in the context of CPA versus subscription model, right? So what are actually the benefits and what may be the caveats with choosing one or the other, right? And to us, the big reason why we are so excited today that we can announce having CPA for indirect via Cloud Choice Profit is that it actually keeps you and now being able to be even better aligned with how we also approach our customers. Because for us, CPA, the consumption-based pricing, is really the default approach, right? And we were really sorry that we couldn't provide it earlier to all of you. So now we have that, right? So that alignment is important, because then we have once again a single story, right? And we can actually position the story of cloud consumption-based pricing model in a standard fashion, regardless whether it is an SAP salesperson or whether it is someone at your companies approaching our customers. Flexibility, I already mentioned that, right? To me, that flexibility allows then scenarios like land and expand, right? Because with that, you can start small. You start selling only few credits to start with, right? The minimum being the 10K euro a year. Right? But then as the customer requirements grow, as additional services are required, you can slowly increase the capacity. So you do not need to know upfront what is the full scope, right? And that goes to the next point here, dynamic scoping, right? So there are still many cases where customers are not yet entirely sure upfront which services they would need, right? And it's not fair for us to ask you, our partners, to always know upfront which services are required, because the requirements may be changing as we go through the blueprinting phase, right? And last but not least, this flexibility also helps us in the innovation cases, where again, it's important that you, our partners, as well as the customers have access to all the services that are available in the cloud platform at the time when it's needed, right, for an innovation use case. We also, for the transparency purposes, I also have to say there are some good reasons why subscription can still be relevant, right? One can be the discounting levels, because with the subscription-based pricing, because it is upfront defined, there can be a little bit more flexibility. As you will know, from, let's say, that perspective, you would still need to work with our sales teams on the ground. Your partner business manager can support you on this, right? But ultimately, there may be some differences in terms of the, let's say, discount or exceptional discounts that may be possible with a subscription, which are not possible with CPA, because there the discounting tiers are very clearly defined. Then the second point would be predictable static scope. So if there is a customer who actually wants just something very specific and they do not actually appreciate that flexibility, they rather want to have it fixed in stone, right? Fixed on paper. This is the only thing that I'm really ordering, that I'm paying for, and that's what I want, right? That also can be a benefit in some sales cycles. So from that perspective, subscription model is not going away at this point, right? It's still there, but just consider that there are good reasons why CPA may be advantageous in many cases. So to close this, right, before we get to the Q&A, to me, what we want to do, we want to provide you some guidance. Please already, if you have any questions, use the Q&A and do this while I walk you through this last slide. For me, there are some do's and don'ts, implied from these benefits that I mentioned, but also implied from some of the considerations that were mentioned by the colleagues, right? So one, it's perfect for innovation projects. Right? So for innovation use cases or POCs, it's actually nice that you do not need to upfront define which services you want, right? Because you may not know that from upfront. Right? Then from go-to-market approach and sales tactics perspective, really think about, now that we have this notion of credits and consumption-based pricing, right? Why not actually, whenever you know that for a specific S4HANA or cloud line of business opportunity, there will be some integration or extensibility requirement, think about attaching some credits upfront already, so that you do not need to deal with that when the time comes, but already make it part of that opportunity. It still gives you that flexibility. You are not, committing upfront to a prescribed set of services, right? You simply attach 10 or 20K worth of credits, right, on top of the prerequisite, on top of the opportunity, right? Then there is also one important but, and that would be combining the CPA and subscription models needs to be really handled with care, because ultimately these orders for CPA versus orders based on subscription, the resources from Cloud Platform will always end up in separate global accounts of Cloud Platform. And this has some technical implications, right? And so not only from, let's say, orchestration and organizational perspective, but also technically, in some cases, with some services, it is easier to integrate if they are part of one global account, right? So it is important to understand this, and this is where we'll be really happy to support you when you have any questions, when in your opportunities, when combining these two models would be on the table. Right? Simplifying your sales cycle, I think I've mentioned it multiple times already. All of that is basically the benefit of having just one SKU, right? Sizing is still required, so we do not want to make it like seem as if you do not need to size, the amount of services that you require upfront. Reason for that is that you can do sizing. You need to do sizing because you need to be able to estimate how many credits initially you need, right? So it would still, not be nice towards the customers, and customers might not feel too happy if they would immediately, when the project starts, realize that they need double the amount of credits, right? So sizing is still required, right? So that you have a view on what is the estimated amount of credits that would be required. And for that, we have the credit estimator that Holger mentioned, right? Proactive monitoring of consumption is very important. One and only one reason. It allows you to be closer to the customer and to help them monitor consumption and avoid overage, right? And rather actually drive also healthy upsells, right? So it's good for your business and it's good for the customer experience. Right? So from that perspective, please be involved with your customers. It's not, as you all know, it's not just about the first part, about selling the credits, but you'll be involved in implementation. So make sure that you also help the customer monitor consumption and identify potential scenarios that could trigger in overconsumption in time. And last but not least, for us, it's important. Some of you will know the term shelfware, right? So we do not want our products to be on the shelf at the customers. And actually, but when you sell credits, we give the opportunity to customers to use the credits the way they need. We do not sell them a service that after 1 month they may realize, hey, this service is not needed anymore, right? With CPA, they can flexibly adjust and use one service in first month, but in second month switch to another, for example. So with that said, thank you so much, everyone. I really appreciate everyone's time here. The call to action here is simple. Some links at your disposal, including recording of the session, including the roadmap, FAQ document designed specifically for you, and also the sales tactics. So please get familiar with the sales plays that I briefly alluded to, right? Check out which pipeline and which existing opportunities could be relevant and could benefit from this new notion of consumption-based pricing. And last but not least, think about that healthy, what I would call attach and cross-sell scenarios, right? When you can actually attach the credits to your existing opportunities to give additional value to our joint customers. So with that said, thank you so much for spending the time with us. I hope this session has been informative. I hope this announcement is actually positive news for all of you. Please do not hesitate to reach out. So thank you so much, everyone. Also, thanks to Christine and Holger. Many thanks for being here with me today. So thank you so much. Have a good day, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.